My presentation is on how to engage millennials in the Sustainable Development Goals. My name is Scott Breen, and my baby face might have given it away, but I am indeed a millennial. But I'm also a podcaster, a sustainability professional, and a lawyer. And I want to give a caveat that I'm going to say things like us and we. I don't pretend to speak for all millennials. We are the most diverse generation in American history. But I'm going to give you some key points today to think about as you put together campaigns to try to engage millennials. So as I thought about what I had done recently to engage people my age and what my friends had done, one example stood out. My friend Ashley posted this photo of her and her friend Bill to Facebook. And along with that photo, she posted all of this text. And I know what you're thinking. Is this guy's star example of how to engage millennials really 7 paragraphs long? Yes, it is. And it is because Ashley did a great job giving a lot of personal touches in all of this text. She explained that Bill is a homeless veteran that lives behind her office building. And every night she would leave on her bicycle, and Bill would come out and say, hey, and watch for the cars and tell her when it was safe to go. And as she was leaving, he would say, have a good night. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourself. And over time, they became so close that he started referring to her as his little sis. And so they had this very nice relationship, and he told her one day that he had unfortunately been diagnosed with terminal cancer. And Ashley was very distraught about this. And because he had told her also that the one thing he wanted to do before the disease took over was to see his family in another part of the state, she thought, I'm going to go to Facebook, post this photo, post all of this text, and just see if people take to it. And I read it. I was touched by how honest and real it was. I donated. 25 other people donated, and she raised $600 to send Bill to his family. Okay. So what can we learn from this example? And what are some key points to keep in mind when trying to engage millennials? Well, one point is that millennials are willing to ask their networks to give. 70% of millennials are willing to raise money on behalf of a nonprofit that they care about. This ask can take a variety of forms. It could be sharing a story about someone they know and care about, like Ashley did for Bill. It could be sharing an article about a social justice issue that the person cares about. Or it could be doing something outlandish that shows your commitment to the cause and people like to share. And an example of that is this guy, Ross Hoy. And what he did is he grew a mustache, and I hope you can see this. He connected that mustache with hair to his chest hair that is in the shape of an octopus, okay? And he did this as part of the Movember Foundation, which what they do is they ask people to grow facial hair for 30 days, share photos of themselves doing it, and a fundraising page to try to raise money for men's health and raise awareness for it. And the Movember Foundation started in 2003 with 30 men, and today it has 5 million Mo Bros and Mo Sistas. And Movember Foundation Australia posted this photo of Ross, called it the Octo-Mo, and that photo was shared 5,500 times. So as you think about how to engage millennials, think about what you can ask of them that allows them to be creative, put themselves out there, and they'll probably take to it more, and it'll get shared more. Okay, key point number 2. Millennials expect to see the impact of their time or financial donations. 79% of millennials say making a difference is more important than recognition. This means that we'd rather see a tangible impact than a badge on Facebook saying we donated. And an organization that has taken this point to heart is a group called WOTC. So WOTC is a crowdfunding platform that connects patients that need healthcare to donors that want to fund a specific person. And WOTC operates in all countries that don't have universal healthcare. And this is part of achieving Sustainable Development Goal 3, and one of the targets there is to achieve universal health care. And so far, since launching in 2012, WOTC has had more than 23,000 donors fund more than 14,000 surgeries. And of those donors, 65% of them are millennials. So what's attracting millennials to WOTC? A couple of things. One is transparency, and another is personal connection. So 100% of what people give on WOTC to a specific person for their healthcare, that all goes to that person's healthcare. So that's transparency. The second, personal connections. When you go to WOTC's website, all you're going to see are stories of people. and the healthcare they need. And when you donate to a person's healthcare, you then get email updates about what healthcare they're getting and whether it was successful. So I think the New York Times did a nice job in a 2016 article where they were talking about how millennials are changing the way philanthropy is done. They said, millennials expect transparency, sophisticated storytelling, and technical savvy from their charitable organizations. So WOTC's doing this, and I encourage you, when you think about how you're going to engage millennials, think about how can I be more transparent? How can I tell a great story about the specific people that are being impacted by what I'm doing? Okay, third point, millennials want an experience where they enhance or use their skills. 77% of millennials said they are more willing to volunteer when they can use their specific skills or expertise to benefit a cause. This idea of using your skills as part of your volunteer effort towards a specific cause is called skills-based volunteering. And a lot of companies are starting to do this. You heard this morning Rebecca from Covestro talked a lot about it. And another company that's a pioneer in this is IBM. They created an initiative back in 2003 called On Demand Community, and it connects IBM employees and retirees to skills-based volunteer opportunities. And in its first 10 years of existence, 250,000 IBM employees and retirees donated more than 16 million hours of skilled work to volunteer efforts. More and more companies are starting to do this. And there's a new initiative called Impact 2030 that is trying to rally companies to put more of their skills-based volunteering efforts towards meeting the SDGs. So there's a woman named Sue Stevenson that now works full-time on Impact 2030. She was the former head of corporate social responsibility at the Ritz-Carlton company. And when she was explaining why the Ritz-Carlton company got involved with Impact 2030, here's what she said. So particularly for our millennial workforce, who bring their values to the workplace and want to be engaged in making change, creating great good, alignment with the global goals presents an outstanding employee engagement opportunity. Okay? And so there's ways for companies, people in companies now, to put their skills to use. But what if you're someone who doesn't work in a company? Is there a way for you to get connected with volunteer opportunities where you can put your skills to use and grow your skills? Well, one tool is called Catch a Fire. This is an online tool that allows you to filter volunteer opportunities by your interest area, by what skills you have, and your time commitment. And on this website are a variety of opportunities, ranging from a 1-hour phone call to a 3-month scoped project. So what's great here is it's giving tailored suggestions to people that fill it out. And that's what millennials want. They want to know, where can I put my skills to use? I don't want to see every opportunity you got. Okay. All right. So we have our three key points, and we have our star example with Ashley and Bill. So now let's talk about if the current efforts to engage millennials on the Sustainable Development Goals reflects those key points. And if we do this correctly, will it resonate with millennials? And millennials care about the issues that the SDGs are addressing. And I know this because of 3 data points. One is that when thousands of millennials were surveyed and they were asked, as far as my identity goes, I describe myself as, the number one answer was global citizen of the world. This beat out ethnicity, religion, philosophy, nationality. This is what they identified themselves as. And the second data point is that greater than 63% of millennials across all races surveyed agreed with the statement, yes, I believe I can affect change in the world. So not only do millennials see themselves as citizens of the world, but they believe they can affect change within it and people far away. Third data point, 70% of millennials think the world is full of opportunities. So they think they can affect change, and they're optimists. They think there are opportunities to actually affect that change, right? Okay, so how are we doing in collecting millennials to these opportunities? Well, to figure that out, I did what any millennial would do, and I Googled it. And I typed in Sustainable Development Goals, get involved. And the number one result, I went down to the get involved part of that page, and what it told me to do was share. Share this with everyone you know. Tell everyone about the Sustainable Development Goals. That probably worked with some. 88% of millennials surveyed said in the past week they had went to Facebook and posted about an issue they care about or engaged on an issue they care about. So probably some did it, but if you want that deep engagement on the Sustainable Development Goals, ask us to do more than share. Show us what projects we can do where we can put our skills to use. Show us who's going to be impacted. Okay. Then I went to the second result and went to get involved, and they gave me this, the Lazy Person's Guide to Saving the World. I don't know about you. I don't like being labeled as lazy. I don't like being assumed to be that I'm lazy, especially because of my age. And when this guide, what it consists of is 37 bullet points of what a lazy person can do to advance the Sustainable Development Goals. I'm imagining if someone is actually this lazy where they're like, oh, thank God, a guide for me, they're probably not going to get past bullet point 1, right? So the current engagement efforts need some work. What are some ideas on how to improve them? One is, remember that catch a fire idea where you can filter by the skills you have and the interest area and the time commitment? There should be a similar portal for the Sustainable Development Goals. Funnel people to the projects that they're actually going to be interested in because of the skills they have and the interests they have. So that's one idea. The second idea is millennials love quizzes. Here's one I took. Which the West Wing character are you? When that came up that I am Leo McGarry, that was like the best day of my life. I shared it with many people. And I think there should be a quiz, which the Sustainable Development Goal are you, right? And then the result could be something like, you are a Sustainable Development Goal 4, 9, and 12, congratulations. And based on the skills you said you have in the quiz, here's some projects you can get involved in. And, oh, you went to those countries or you're connected to those countries? All right, here are some specific people in those countries affected by those goals. By getting that information and tailoring where we're directing millennials to, you're going to get a lot more engagement. Okay. So, like a lot of millennials, I got some skills. I got to care for the world. We can do better putting opportunities in front of millennials to affect change and getting that deeper engagement. And don't assume we're lazy. Don't give us this broad bullet point list to read through. Instead, tailor the approach. Show us what impact has happened and will happen by our involvement. Allow us to use our skills and grow our skills. And make it an easily shareable thing and show us who's going to be impacted, the specific people. So I hope you'll go back, and when you consider how to engage with millennials, you'll keep these key points in mind. And if you'd like to engage further, please email me. Thanks.